What if I told you that the greatest deception you will ever experience is not from the world around you, but from within yourself? What if, right now, you were living a lie so subtle, so well crafted, that you couldn't even recognize it? A lie so deep that it controls your choices, your desires, and even your understanding of who you are. The ancient Stoics believed that self-deception was the most dangerous form of ignorance. Seneca once said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." We chase illusions, thinking they are truth. We deny reality, believing we are in control, and in doing so, we become prisoners of our own minds. But here's the unsettling truth. A man who lies to himself is not free. He is chained by illusions, trapped in an invisible prison built by his own hands. And the worst part, he doesn't even know it. Today, we will uncover 6 powerful signs that you are lying to yourself without even realizing it. This will be uncomfortable. It will challenge you, but it will also be the most important lesson you will ever learn. Because once you strip away the lies, what remains is power, freedom, a mind that sees reality for what it truly is. This is the path of the Stoic, the path of wisdom, the path of truth. Are you ready to see what has been hidden from you? Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Every like, subscribe helps us continue our mission of sharing knowledge. And leave a comment below and share your opinion on these signs, or tell me which one resonates with you the most. Ready to unlock more wisdom? Let's get started. Sign 1. You confuse comfort with happiness. There is a silent enemy that every man must confront at some point in his life. It does not come with a sword. It does not threaten with fire or rage. Instead, it whispers. It soothes. It tells you that everything is fine, that you deserve rest, that you should not push too hard. And before you know it, you are no longer moving forward. You are stagnant. You are comfortable. And you have mistaken this comfort for happiness. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." This is the quiet deception of comfort, the lie that whispers, "Not now, later." You tell yourself that you are at peace, that you are content, but in reality you are delaying your own greatness. A man who confuses comfort with happiness is a man who does not yet understand himself. He believes that the absence of pain means the presence of joy. But true happiness does not come from the easy path. It comes from struggle, from the fire that tempers the soul, from the relentless pursuit of purpose. Look around you. How many men have settled? How many have traded their dreams for convenience? They tell themselves they are happy, but their eyes betray them. There is a quiet desperation in their voices, a longing they do not fully understand. They have been lulled to sleep by the illusion of comfort. And the worst part, they do not even know it. The Stoics understood that comfort is the greatest thief of time. Seneca warned us, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." How much of your life have you wasted telling yourself that you are satisfied when deep down you know you are not? How many days have you lost convincing yourself that you are at peace when in reality you are simply afraid to face the discomfort of growth? A warrior does not seek comfort. A philosopher does not seek ease. A wise man does not seek to avoid hardship because he understands that hardship is the path to strength. Look at your own life. Are you truly happy or are you merely comfortable? There's a simple test. When was the last time you did something that truly scared you? When was the last time you took a risk, pursued a goal that seemed impossible, pushed yourself beyond the limits of what you thought you could endure? If you cannot remember, then you are not happy. You are merely comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of the man who seeks wisdom. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Growth requires discomfort. It requires failure. It requires moments of doubt and struggle. If you have avoided these things, then you have avoided life itself. Ask yourself right now, are you happy or are you merely avoiding the pain of change? Because the lie you tell yourself, the lie that comfort is enough, will be the reason you wake up one day and realize you have wasted your life. The time to wake up is now. The time to strip away this illusion is now. The time to stop lying to yourself is now. Let's move forward. Sign 2. You think knowledge is the same as wisdom. There is a dangerous illusion that traps even the most intelligent men. It is the belief that knowing something is the same as living it. That because you have read about a truth, you have mastered it. That because you understand a principle, you embody it. But knowledge is not wisdom. And mistaking the two is one of the greatest lies a man can tell himself. The Stoics were not concerned with how much a man knew. They were concerned with how much he applied. Marcus Aurelius did not write his meditations to impress others with his intellect. He wrote them as a reminder to himself to live what he believed. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Look around you. How many men fill their minds with knowledge but do nothing with it? They can recite quotes from great philosophers. They consume books. They listen to podcasts. They discuss deep ideas, but their lives remain unchanged. They mistake learning for transformation. They mistake intellect for discipline. They mistake words for action. Wisdom is not measured by what you know, but by what you do when the moment comes. A man who has read every book on courage but shrinks in the face of fear is not wise. He is a fool. A man who preaches self-discipline but cannot control his own impulses is not wise. He is weak. A man who understands philosophy but lives in contradiction to it is not wise. He is lost. Seneca warned us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Knowledge alone lives in imagination. It fills your mind with concepts and theories. But until it is tested in the fire of experience, it is nothing but an illusion. The true test of wisdom is life itself. The moments when you are challenged, when you are broken, when you must decide whether to act or retreat. And in those moments, knowledge is worthless if it does not become action. Ask yourself, how many times have you known what you needed to do, but did not do it? How many times have you understood the right path, but chosen the easy one instead? How many times have you convinced yourself that because you could act later, you did not need to act now? Wisdom is not the collection of knowledge. It is the discipline to live it. It is the ability to take what you know and make it the foundation of who you are. A real man does not pride himself on what he knows. He prides himself on what he endures. He does not speak endlessly about philosophy. He embodies it. He does not seek recognition for his intellect. He seeks mastery over himself. And here is the brutal truth. If your knowledge has not transformed you, then you do not truly understand it. You may have memorized it, you may have admired it, but you have not yet lived it. The Stoics did not study philosophy to appear wise. They studied it to prepare for battle. Because life is a battle, against weakness, against excuses, against self-deception. The question is not how much you know. The question is whether or not you have the courage to live by it. Do you? Or are you lying to yourself? Let's continue. Sign 3. You blame the world instead of taking responsibility. There is a lie that will keep a man weak for his entire life. A lie that poisons the mind, strips away power, and leaves him at the mercy of everything around him. It is the lie that his failures are not his own, that his suffering is someone else's fault, that he is a victim of the world, rather than the master of his own destiny. The weak man finds comfort in blame. He points at his past, his circumstances, his parents, the economy, society, luck, anything but himself. He convinces himself that the reason he is not where he wants to be is because the world is unfair. He tells himself that if things were different, if he had been given a better hand, if people had treated him better, then he would have succeeded. And in doing so, he surrenders his own power. The Stoics rejected this lie completely. Epictetus, a man who was born a slave and had every reason to see himself as a victim, declared, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." A man who refuses to take responsibility for his life will never be free. Because as long as he believes his suffering is someone else's fault, he gives that person, that event, that circumstance complete control over him. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you fairness. No one is responsible for your success except you. A man can either accept this and take control of his life, or he can continue lying to himself, blaming the world, and wondering why nothing changes. Look at history. The greatest men, the warriors, the kings, the philosophers, the legends, they all had one thing in common. They refused to see themselves as victims. They understood that life is brutal, unfair, and merciless. And yet, instead of complaining, they conquered. They adapted. They built themselves into something stronger. But the modern man, He is softer. He is more fragile. He seeks comfort in excuses rather than strength in action. He believes that because life has been hard, he is entitled to an easier path. But the world does not reward weakness. It does not care about your complaints. It does not stop for your suffering. It only respects action. Seneca warned us, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. If you are suffering, if you are struggling, if life has beaten you down, that is your fire. That is your test. The question is not whether the world is fair. The question is whether you are strong enough to rise despite it. The man who blames the world will stay exactly where he is, forever trapped in the illusion that he is powerless. But the man who takes responsibility, no matter how unfair life has been to him, will rise. Because responsibility is power, and power belongs to those who refuse to give it away. So ask yourself, are you a man who owns his life? Or are you still lying to yourself, waiting for the world to change instead of changing yourself? The choice is yours. Let's move forward. Sign 4. You think you have more time than you do. There is a silent arrogance that lives within most men. It does not shout, it does not boast, it does not look like pride. Instead, it disguises itself as something much more innocent, the belief that there will always be more time to chase your dreams, more time to become the man you are meant to be, more time to fix what is broken, more time to say the words you have left unsaid. This is the greatest lie of all. Seneca warned us, you act like mortals in all that you fear and like immortals in all that you desire. You fear pain, failure, hardship, as if you will die from them. But when it comes to your dreams, your goals, your true purpose, you behave as if you are immortal, as if time is infinite, as if you can always begin tomorrow. But tomorrow is not promised, and for many, tomorrow never comes. Look back at your life. How many things have you delayed? How many goals have you told yourself you would start when the time is right? How many times have you waited? Waited for courage, waited for certainty, waited for something, instead of taking action. Most men die waiting. They die with their dreams unfulfilled. They die with regret. They die with the weight of all the things they could have done but never did, because they believed the lie that they had more time. A Stoic does not live this way. A Stoic knows that memento mori, remember you will die, is not a morbid thought but a call to action. Death is not something to fear, it is something to use. It is the reminder that your time is limited, that every day wasted is a day you will never get back, that if you do not act now, you may never act at all. The man who understands death does not delay. He does not waste time in distractions. He does not live passively, hoping that life will somehow give him what he wants. He takes control. He moves with urgency. He treats every day as if it is his last, because one day it will be. But the average man does not think this way. The average man believes he is immune to time. He tells himself that he is too young to worry about these things. He assumes that opportunities will always be there. He convinces himself that someday in the future he will finally become the man he is meant to be. Someday, the most dangerous word in the world. Someday is a lie. Someday never comes. Someday is the word men use when they are too afraid to act today. Are you waiting for someday? Are you telling yourself that you have more time than you do? Are you living each day with purpose? Or are you just passing through, waiting for something to happen? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." If you knew you had only 1 year left to live, what would you do differently? Would you finally chase that goal? Would you finally cut out the distractions? Would you finally stop making excuses and become the man you were meant to be? Because here's the truth. You do have only one life, and it is passing by faster than you realize. Most men do not wake up until it is too late. Most men only understand the value of time when they have none left. Will you be one of them? Or will you wake up now, while there is still time to become the man you are meant to be? The choice is yours. Let's continue. Sign 5. You think your intentions matter more than your actions. A man is not judged by what he intends to do. He is judged by what he does. The world does not reward good intentions. It does not care about the dreams you had but never pursued, the apologies you meant to give but never spoke, the greatness you planned for but never achieved. The only thing that matters is action. And if you believe that your intentions are enough, you are lying to yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." The difference between the man who succeeds and the man who fails is simple. One acts, the other thinks about acting. One moves, the other waits for the perfect moment. One builds, the other imagines what he could build if only the circumstances were right. But here's the truth: the perfect moment does not exist. It never has. It never will. The men who achieve greatness are not the ones who wait for everything to align. They are the ones who move forward despite the obstacles, despite the doubts, despite the uncertainty. How many times have you said, "I was going to do that, but..." How many times have you planned to change, planned to improve, planned to take action, but let life get in the way? How many times have you convinced yourself that because you wanted to do something, it was as if you had already done it? This is the great deception of intention. It makes you feel as if you are making progress when in reality you are standing still. It allows you to congratulate yourself for the things you would have done, if only the timing had been better, if only the conditions had been right, if only you had felt more ready. But you will never feel ready, and the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Epictetus warned, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Do not dwell in the fantasy of what you could become. Step into the reality of what you must do to get there. A warrior does not win battles in his mind. A philosopher does not find wisdom by merely thinking about it. A builder does not create something great by imagining it. Action is the only thing that separates the weak from the strong, the dreamers from the doers, the men who leave a legacy from the men who are forgotten. But most men never realize this. They believe that because they meant well, they have done well. That because they wanted to change, they have changed. That because they plan to act, they are already ahead. But planning is not progress. Intention is not transformation. Action is the only measure of a man. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And that is exactly why most men fail. They live in their imaginations, believing that one day they will act, one day they will become disciplined, one day they will rise to their full potential. And then, one day, they wake up and realize that they have wasted their lives in waiting. Are you one of these men? Do you tell yourself that your intentions are enough? Do you give yourself credit for the things you wanted to do instead of the things you actually did? Do you allow yourself to feel satisfied with almost taking action? There is only one way to break free from this illusion. Stop thinking. Stop planning. Stop waiting. Move. Now. Do not tell yourself that you will start tomorrow. Do not promise yourself that you will act when the time is right. Do not believe that your good intentions will be enough to change your life. They won't. A man's worth is not measured by what he wanted to do. It is measured by what he did. So what have you done? Or are you still lying to yourself? It is time to strip away the illusion. It is time to act. Let's move to the final sign. Sign 6. You think the problem is outside of you. There's a lie that weak men tell themselves over and over again. A lie so comfortable, so convenient, that it allows them to avoid responsibility for their lives. It is the belief that their problems are caused by the world, by other people, by circumstances beyond their control. They tell themselves that they would be stronger if only they had a better upbringing, more opportunities, more support. That they would be disciplined if only life were easier. That they would be great if only the world had been fair to them. This is the final and most dangerous lie of all. The belief that the problem is out there, when in reality, the problem is you. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at his time, could have blamed his enemies, his advisors, or the weight of the empire he ruled. But he never did. Instead, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." No man ever became strong by making excuses. No man ever built greatness by blaming the world. No man ever became wise by pointing at others and saying, "They are the reason I am not where I want to be." Look at your life. Are you exactly where you want to be? If not, who do you blame? Do you blame your past? Do you blame your parents? Do you blame society? Do you blame the people who doubted you, who mistreated you, who failed to give you what you needed? Blaming others may give you comfort, but it will never give you power. Because the moment you blame something outside of yourself, you give away control. You admit that you are not in charge of your own fate. You become a prisoner to your circumstances, and as long as you believe this lie, you will never be free. Epictetus, born into slavery, had every reason to blame the world for his suffering. And yet he taught his students, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He knew the truth that weak men avoid. You are responsible for your own life, not your parents, not society, not fate, you. This is what separates strong men from weak men. Weak men complain, strong men adapt. Weak men blame, strong men take responsibility. Weak men see obstacles and stop. Strong men see obstacles and push forward anyway. Which one are you? You may tell yourself, but it's not fair. You're right. It's not. But fairness is an illusion. The universe does not owe you anything. No man is born with an equal hand. Some are given more, some are given less. But the measure of a man is not what he is given, it is what he does with it. You were wronged? So what? Life is full of suffering. You were dealt a bad hand? So what? That hand is still yours to play. You had a hard past? So what? Every great man in history had struggles, pain, and hardship, and they did not let it define them. Seneca warned us, fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. You can be led by life, or you can be dragged by it. But either way, life will move forward, with or without you. You must make a choice. Will you continue to tell yourself that the problem is out there? Will you continue to waste your life in excuses, in blame, in bitterness? Or will you take responsibility, not just for your past, but for everything that happens from this moment forward? No more lies, no more blaming others, no more waiting for life to change. The problem is not out there. The problem is you. And that is the best news of all. Because if the problem is you, then the solution is you. You can rise, you can change, you can take control, but only if you stop lying to yourself. And now, wisdom seekers, the real question remains. What will you do? Final thoughts. The truth you cannot escape. Wisdom seekers, we have reached the end, but in reality, this is just the beginning. Because now, you must face the truth. The only enemy that has ever truly held you back is you. You have lied to yourself without realizing it. You have convinced yourself that knowledge is enough, that your thoughts are reality, that you have more time, that your intentions matter more than your actions, that the problem is out there instead of inside of you. But deep down, you have always known the truth. You have always known that you were capable of more. You have always known that the life you are living is not the life you were meant for. You have always felt that there was a fire inside you, buried, maybe, but never extinguished. And now you have a choice. You can ignore everything you have heard today. You can go back to comfort, back to excuses, back to the familiar lies that keep you weak. You can tell yourself that you will change someday, and someday will become never. Or you can do something that most men will never do. You can face yourself with absolute honesty. You can accept that no one is coming to save you, that no one will hand you the life you want, that no one will make you strong, disciplined, or wise. That is your job. Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." You do not have forever. You do not have time to waste. Your life is passing by, moment by moment, and the man you could have been is slipping further away. So ask yourself, what will I do now? Will you let this be just another moment of inspiration, forgotten by tomorrow? Or will you take what you have learned, apply it ruthlessly, and forge yourself into the man you were always meant to be? No more waiting, no more lies. No more wasting your own potential. The path is clear, the choice is yours. Now, prove to yourself that you were listening.